everybody, welcome back to this webinar on IELTS writing. Now today, let's get started. We're going to talk about IELTS writing, okay? I'm sure all of you are studying for IELTS, you're wanting to go to university in the future, so today we're going to really focus on the writing part of the test, specifically on part 2, okay? I'm going to share the screen with you in a second, but you will be able to see on your screen that there are 2 handouts, okay? Now, the first of these handouts is entitled About Application UK, okay? This is a flyer for your information about Application UK, who are sponsoring today's webinar, and you'll be able to find out a little bit more later about who they are and how they can help you. Okay? The other handout you'll see is IELTS Writing Webinar, which is the document that we're going to have a look at today. Okay? But just follow my screen and you can download and print off that document later and use it for your own use later on. Okay, so I'll share the screen now so that you can see this document as I can see it. Okay, so now then you should be able to see this document just here. Okay, please raise your hand, ask a question if you cannot see the document, okay? But we should be okay here. Now, we can see that this is what we are going to do today. We will firstly have a look at a brief overview of what you will be required to do in the exam, what you must do, okay? We'll have a look at more than what you need to do, what the examiners want, okay? That is the real question here, of what do they want, what do you need to do in order to write a good essay, okay, to get the high marks. We'll have a little look at a model essay, at the structure, the purpose, the content of each paragraph individually. And how we can put this together, okay? So more focusing on the structure of these things today. We'll also look in much more detail at the body paragraphs, not the whole thing, not the introduction or the conclusion, but more so with the body paragraphs, okay, where you're writing the bulk of your essay, and how we can do that, okay? And the most important thing that we will look at here is how to present your idea, how to extend your idea, and how to support your idea as well, okay? We will have some time at the end today for you to ask questions too, okay? We'll have some questions related, connected to IELTS, and we'll have a bit of period of time as well where you can find out about Application UK, about UKAC, and ask any questions about this too, okay? So let's get started to see what you need to do in the exam, okay? But we won't take too long on this section. So what am I required to do, okay? Now here you can see that the IELTS writing test is 60 minutes. If you've studied for this, I'm sure you know this part of it already, that we have 2 tasks, okay? We have the first task, which is usually about 20 minutes, and the second task, which is usually about 40 minutes, okay? However, in this, you are responsible for splitting your time, okay? You can choose whether you do task 1 first or task 2 first. Either is absolutely fine and acceptable. But being aware, however, that the advice given for these timings are there for a reason, okay? Task 1 is worth less of the marks. It's worth about 30% of your writing score, whereas task 2, which we will focus on today, is worth 2/3, 60% of your mark, okay? It's worth more marks, and so you should spend more time on this as well, okay? For task 1, we've got 150 words that you should be writing, but you will also see here in task 2, we've got 250 words you must write. You're writing more for this one, okay? Briefly then, task 1, as you can see here, you will see a graph, a table, a chart, and you have to write about this. This is really, really informative here, okay? You're not saying your opinions, you're not assuming, you're just describing data, the stages of a process maybe, how something works. However, and the focus today is task 2, and in this, you will be asked to write an essay, okay? And this will be in response to maybe an opinion, a point of view, an argument, perhaps a problem in today's society, okay? These are very kind of applicable in many different ways. These could be topics such as transport, such as various different things, such as education, the government spending, all these different kind of areas. These are interesting and they should be quite wide in terms of everybody being able to have an opinion on this as well, okay? We're going to have a look at a few examples later, but before we do, let's just see why it's worked in this way, what they want you to do, okay? And as you can see here, this is designed to test a wide variety of skills. It's not only your language. Your language is extremely important, but it's not only your language, it's your skills in writing, in how you write your answer. And you will be, it's very important that you write a response appropriately, okay? That it is suitable for IELTS, it is suitable for academic language, and in preparation for university in the future, okay? It's very important that we organise our ideas, we put them in the right place, they connect together and follow on from each other very, very well as well, okay? And finally, that language of course is very important, and not only writing accurately, but demonstrating that you have a wide range. You cannot just use one type of word, for example, but that you can change that word. You can use synonyms and other words that mean the same thing. In terms of grammar, that we can not only use perhaps one type of sentence structure or one type of verb, but that you can use it depending on the context to express yourself very, very accurately there too. Okay? So these 3 things are the main things that they will be looking for here. Okay? Now, this will be assessed through a variety of different styles of questions, which we will have a little look at. But the entirety of these question types ask you to do one of 4 things, okay? And these will be either to provide a solution, okay? It could be a problem such as pollution in the world, maybe air pollution, for example, and you will need to suggest a realistic solution for how to deal with this problem. You could be asked more to evaluate the problem, to assess it. What are perhaps the causes and effects of this problem? How did this problem develop and how is that taking effect in the world today? You may be asked to compare or to contrast different ideas and opinions. There may be an issue in which some people would think one thing and other people will think a different thing. So you may need to contrast those and add your opinion as well. Do you agree with these people? Do you disagree? And how much do you agree? You may also need to challenge an argument or an idea. And this is talking about some people may have a view. Do you agree with that? And why? Can we challenge that in any way? Okay. Now, as I said, this is done through different styles of questions, which we will have a look at now. Okay. And you can see here we have various questions based on the topic of technology, on computers in education. Okay. You'll be able to see here that the actual what the examiners are asking you to do is highlighted in green, and we can see a few different questions here which show you these different styles as well. Okay, we've got the first one, okay, in which we're being asked, do you agree or disagree with the statement? Okay. The second of these is more to discuss the advantages and the disadvantages and give your own opinion. Okay, slightly different to this one. This one here is discussing both sides of an argument and then giving your opinion. Slightly different to advantages and disadvantages, but this is where you're discussing what different people think to a problem. Finally, we have what are some of the problems associated with this and what are some of the possible solutions. So a few examples of these different types of questions here as well. Okay. So now let's move on to see what the examiners are looking for in a good essay. What do they want to see? Okay. Now let's have a little look. So there are four key areas here in which your writing is marked, okay? And each of these areas are worth 25% of your writing mark in total, okay? Now, if you, there is a link just down here, okay? This is from the British Council website, a very trustworthy and reliable website that has many other resources that you can use in terms of preparing for the exam, in learning what your results mean, and in even booking the exam as well, okay? But this link will show you these four different sections, okay, that are each worth 25%. You'll see here that grammatical range and accuracy, this is the grammar that you use. First of all, the range, which means how many different types you use, how varied it is, that you're not using the same structure again and again and again, but you can use the right one depending on the context, okay? Lexical resource, you'll see here, it basically means your vocabulary, okay? It's talking about, is this vocabulary very similar in using the range? Can you change it according to the situation to be accurate and express yourself clearly within that as well? And communication is key in both of these aspects. That can the reader understand what you're trying to say here? Finally, we have coherence and cohesion, and this is really talking about the development and the linking between things. This could be more grammatically, the linking of your sentence, perhaps with linkers such as because, however, despite, words like this, and how accurately you can do that. But it's also talking about the linking of your paragraphs and how well you can connect your ideas together as well, okay? Task achievement brings this together, and task achievement is more of what we will be focused on today, and this is talking about more of, have you answered the question? Have you done what they asked you to do? Have you developed your argument? Have you used your words to answer the question fluently in your writing? And is this a good piece of work, really? Okay. Now this, below here, there is a table which will help you to understand this much better, okay? Have a look at this website in your own time, but don't worry if you find this website a little bit difficult. If you do, this table will help to make this a bit more simple, okay? And these questions will, if you ask yourself these questions when you are writing your essay, they will help you to make sure you have targeted each area, okay? The first of these is task achievement, okay, which you see here. Did I write 250 words, okay? Did I answer all parts of the question? Sometimes we might have 2 different parts, 3 different parts even of the question. Have I acknowledged those parts in there? Did I provide a balanced and well-developed argument? Okay, this part we will have a look at later. And did I support my ideas with evidence and examples? You're talking about your opinion often, but it's not just enough to say, I think this. You need to say why you think this. Give examples to prove what you're saying and how you believe this as well. Okay? Were these ideas relevant to the question? Were they suitable? Did they answer the question? And again, these ones, as we just discussed, is it easy to understand? Is it well organized and linked together? Is the vocabulary, is it used accurately and effectively? And are the grammatical structures used accurately and effectively as well? Do they do what you want to do within your writing? Okay. So we're going to move on then to have a look at your paragraphs in terms of a few different areas, in terms of structure, purpose and content. Now you can see that we have different paragraphs. Now the use of your paragraphs is very, very important, and to separate them into different ideas. Now usually, as you can see here, it's very common for you to write 4 paragraphs, sometimes 5. Now here it depends. Often you may write 5 if you perhaps have a question, such as discussing both sides of the argument and then giving your opinion. You would have 3 body paragraphs as so. You might write one side in here in body paragraph 1, the other side in body paragraph 2, and your opinion in body paragraph 3. But for many questions, you only need 2 main body paragraphs, okay? These are your 2 key ideas, okay? So you don't need to do 5 necessarily, okay? You do, however, need to introduce and conclude your ideas, okay? Almost think of this like a sandwich, almost, okay? You have the bread either side and the meat, your main thing, in the middle, okay? These are your main ideas within inside of this, okay? So in your introduction, in your conclusion, you're not really introducing the bulk of it, okay? The bulk is really in these body paragraphs. Okay? Let's have a look at an example so you can kind of understand what I'm saying a bit more here, okay? Now here is one of the questions that we had before, okay? Computers are being used more and more in education. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your own opinion, okay? So let's have a look here. Now, what I'll do is I'll just make it slightly smaller so you can see all of this in one screen together. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So you can see here for this piece of work, we've got just over 250 words, and you can see here that there are 4 paragraphs, as we suggested, okay? The biggest of these paragraphs are the 2 body paragraphs, and we have a short introduction and a conclusion at the end as well, okay? Now, I've underlined here some useful phrases. You can perhaps have a look more in detail at these later, but you can see how these phrases help to really structure and signify what you are doing. Just as we said before within the task achievement and coherence and cohesion, these show to the reader what you are doing, okay? We see that we introduce the topic. This essay will firstly discuss, it shows you what is the idea of what you are going to talk about here, okay? We can see one of the principal advantages, one of the main disadvantages. So you can see that with both of these paragraphs, it introduces a main idea for each one, okay, which is really, really important to do this here, okay? But yes, absolutely have a look later on, more in detail, and read through this essay and have a look both at the phrases, the language they use here to introduce these, but also how they have introduced and concluded these to completely answer the question. Okay? Now, let's have a little bit more in-depth look, okay? Now you can see here that each paragraph has one key idea, okay? This is one thing that is really important that we introduce. We have one main idea, two main ideas, and the conclusion. The paragraphs are used to clearly identify and develop these key ideas. The language is used to signpost links between these ideas as well, as you can see with the underlined phrases. The ideas between the sentences and the paragraphs are linked. The introduction says it will firstly discuss here, and secondly outline just here. And similarly here, we see that it refers back to what we have talked about using the overall sentence as well. Okay. And all of the points here are relevant to the question. It's really important that you plan before you start writing so that you can make sure that all of these points, all of these ideas connect to and answer the question as well. Okay? Now, let's have a look at the main part of what we want to look at today, of what makes a good body paragraph, okay? Now, you can see here, I have taken these two paragraphs from this essay here, okay? So it's in answer to the same question about computers being used more and more in education, okay? And whether this is good or bad, okay? Now, we see here body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and you will see also that I have put into different colours the different aspects within each paragraph that although they show a different idea, they do the same thing, okay? So you will see that the first sentence for both of these is green, okay? Now, we'll have a little look at what this is for, okay? As you can see here, green here, present, okay? In your first sentence, you need to present your idea. Some people would call this a topic sentence, okay? Now, this should introduce your idea of the paragraph, okay? What is your main idea of this? Remembering that you always want one idea for each paragraph. It's not good to have many, many ideas, okay? And it's much, much better if you can have one central idea and develop that in more detail, okay? So, as we said, this should directly relate to the question, and this is what you will develop within your paragraph, okay? And remembering here that we want to be specific, okay? If we're saying that I'm going to talk about advantages in this paragraph, what advantage are we talking about? Let's see an example of this, okay? Now, we can see here that in body paragraph 1, one of the principal advantages of an increase in the use of electronic devices in education is the autonomy it provides to students. Now, just in case you don't know there, autonomy means being able to learn independently, not depending on the teacher so much, okay? So this here, it shows me, first of all, that I'm going to talk about advantages in this paragraph, okay? So I see that. And it shows me what is that advantage, the autonomy it gives students. It gives students the ability to learn independently, okay? They're not depending on a book, on a teacher, on the classroom, but they can do that independently within their own time as well. You can see the similar idea with paragraph 2 as well, okay? The main disadvantage associated with the increasing use of technology in education is the decrease in face-to-face interaction between students. Now, I can see, first of all, that this paragraph will talk about the disadvantages, And I can see it also talks about what this disadvantage is, which is the fact that there is less face-to-face interaction between students, okay? So I have these two key ideas, and all, the rest of this paragraph will deal with this idea, autonomy and the decrease in face-to-face interaction, okay? Now, let's have a look at the next sentence. This is the sentence in blue, okay? Now, you'll see here that the sentence in blue extends your idea, okay? It develops this idea. Now, imagine that your reader is somebody who doesn't know what you're talking about, okay? They don't understand this idea of computers in education. Now, it's very likely they do, but you have to imagine that they don't understand, they don't know about this. So you need to explain this, okay? How is your advantage an advantage, okay? So if, for example, we look here, we can see that the main advantage is autonomy, okay? What is autonomy? How is autonomy a good thing? Okay, why is that a good thing about more computers? I don't know that, okay? So here you need to explain this, okay? And we can see an example of this here. Students have the freedom to focus on whatever topic or subject they want and study it in depth through the internet. So through this sentence, it's just explained it, developed it more simply to show that it's actually a good thing that students have more freedom, they can study more specifically for what the students want, and they can do it more in depth as well. They don't just have to study for a few hours within the classroom, but they can study much more within their own house, within a library, for example. You will see a similar idea with paragraph 2 as well, okay? We see the less face-to-face interaction. How is less face-to-face a bad thing? I might, many students might think that that's a good thing. I don't want face-to-face, yes? But we need to explain why is that a bad thing, okay? And we see here, students spend more time looking at a computer screen by themselves than interacting with each other. We know that interaction is particularly useful if you think of learning English, for example. Yeah. So you see here the explanation of why is that disadvantage, why is it a disadvantage, okay? So we need to explain how, okay? That is the main idea to this sentence, okay? And finally, you'll see the last two sentences are both highlighted in orange, okay? And these, I've put these together for a reason, as you will see just here, okay? The final sentence or sentences of your paragraph should support your idea, okay? Now, again, in here, you need to imagine that the reader, not only do they not know or understand, but they do not believe you, okay? You need to give evidence, give examples of this to show that what you are saying, that your ideas, your opinions is not only an opinion. It's not just for you that you think this. If, for example, I say, oh, I think we should use computers because they're good. Okay, you have little reason to believe me. All you have is my opinion, and you do not know that I know what I'm talking about, that you can trust what I'm saying. So here is the area where I can support what I'm saying, and I'm saying, look, here's some evidence, here's an example where you can see that what I'm saying is true, okay? This is what you need to do here. So let's have a look at a little example of this at the first sentence, okay? So we have the advantages, autonomy, more independence. They can study what they want, when they want, how they want. They have freedom here. So let's have a look at the example. A prime example of this is the amount of online university courses available to students. We're covering a myriad of subjects. Myriad here means like a wide kind of range, variety and difference that up until recently were unavailable to most learners, okay? So here that we can see that through the computer, through the internet, many people can study what they want to study from their house, okay? And similar for this disadvantages sentence as well, we see the other way, okay? Showing that a decrease in face-to-face interaction. For instance, the recent explosion in smartphone use has been at the expense of genuine human interaction, okay? And here that we can see that through people using their phones, their mobile phones, much more, we have less socializing through the context of face-to-face and more socializing through, for example, social networks, okay? So here we have two good examples of how this fact is true, okay? And it's something that you can argue with almost as well. Now you'll also see that results of examples are often written to show the significance of these ideas and to make this stronger, okay? What is the effect of this? This is not a necessity, but it is often very good in making this stronger and making your idea more believable as well, okay? We see here, this has resulted in more people studying third-level degrees than ever before at a pace and a schedule that suits them. So we can see here that because there are more online university courses, more people are getting a degree. More people are studying at a pace they want. So maybe they do that full-time, maybe they do that over a number of years. And a schedule that suits them. No longer do you have to study in full-time, but you can study outside of that as well, maybe in the evening, at a weekend, if you prefer. Similar for body paragraph 2. The result of more and more smartphone uses, we can see here, this results in soft skills, such as verbal communication and empathy, being able to connect, relate with people. This is affected, okay? That we have not, that our communication isn't as good in that way. So not only do we see an example, we see what is the result of this, and that directly connects to this presenting sentence as well, okay? Now, we've seen examples of all of those things. These are the main ideas of what we need to do. So when you are writing, try to remember these 3 words, and this will help you to do this. To present your idea, to extend your idea, and to support your idea as well, okay? Now, things to just remember very quickly before we finish. We will have an opportunity in a few minutes for any questions that you may have, so please be thinking about those. But before we finish, things to remember is that every sentence is really important here, okay? Every sentence has a purpose, a reason. It's not just writing almost. It's got a reason of how to do this so that you can use it well. And remembering as well that when you go to university, which I'm sure that most of you will be intending on going to university as well, that actually, you know, you'll be writing a lot more at university, perhaps 5,000, 7,000, 10,000, even 20,000 words. This is only 250. It's not a lot. So it's even more important here that you can use every sentence very purposefully and very effectively as well, okay? Now, for example, this idea about computers, okay, this question that we had here, that they're being used more and more in education. Now, there may be many ideas that we could write about this. These 2 things are not the only things we can write about. However, as we just said, you only have 250 words. You don't have time, you don't have the words to write about everything. So really, you need to be very specific and very focused. Choose 2 main ideas and just write about these. Much better to use these sentences well to develop these ideas rather than to almost just have a list of different ideas, and for me not to understand why that is an advantage, and for you not to support it, so that the reader doesn't quite believe that that is an idea for that too. Much better to be much more focused in that area. Okay. So as I've been saying, present, extend, support our ideas, and these often, just as this small diagram demonstrates as well, that you need to present your idea first. The extension refers to this presenting sentence, and the supporting sentence refers again to this presenting sentence. So this sentence is really important, because the other sentences in your paragraph build that and make that a solid statement that your reader can believe. Okay, so yeah, it's really important in that way that both of those sentences are very well connected to that first sentence to support it really well in this situation. Okay. Now we're going to stop in a second and have opportunities for you to ask any questions that you want to ask. But if you follow these ideas now, this is a really good strategy to use. However, the first time you do this, it might take some practice. It takes a while. It's not something that's just a quick solution and then it will be perfect, okay? Of course, it takes practice. But perhaps if there are sometimes some difficulties with coming up with ideas, practice just planning for ideas first, of what is your idea, how can you extend that, and how can you support that with an idea too. Practice together with people that you know who are doing this as well. Look at each other's work. There are many resources on the internet that you can also use to help you to do this and see examples of this too. Okay, and with practice and following these strategies, these will really help you to do this as well. Okay, so we're going to finish there. This is an opportunity now for you to ask any questions that you may have. Okay, so please, in your column on the side, ask any questions you may have, and I'll try to answer these for you. Okay. Look. Okay. Look. Okay, so we've got a question here, okay. Can we use fake examples in the IELTS task 2? For example, we use fake studies to answer the question. Now, this is a common question, and I'm assuming you're meaning in reference to the supporting arguments, okay? Now, I would advise not doing so. It's possible, but I would advise, if you can, try not to, okay? Try not to here. It's much better if this is a true kind of statement. Now IELTS is really preparing you for university, and at university it's absolutely not acceptable to do that, and you will be highly punished and perhaps even removed from the university if you do this. So I would suggest get into a good habit when you start now. And get into the habit of having those true examples, those true studies if you can. If you cannot think of an exact study precisely, use an example here in which they have not been specific with a study, okay? is giving an example, not perhaps speaking about one specific study, but saying online university courses, which you know is true, okay? You don't need the year, the study, and all of these things, okay? However, be aware that, you know, this is an IELTS exam, okay? It's a timed exam as well. You are not able to go onto the internet and find these studies too. So in this situation, you know, the focus of IELTS here as well is to test your language. Your language is the most important thing. So if you have kind of an example, I wouldn't put the name of a real university, okay, to be safe, because you don't want to be getting in trouble in any ways there. So try to, when you're revising, when you're planning your work, perhaps have a list of kind of good examples that you can use for a variety of different topics, if you can. If you don't have an example that you can remember, okay, try to, you know, just do something like this instead. This is still a really, really good example, all right? And it's not being specific about one university, about one course, and it supports it perfectly suitably. So you don't have the necessity, the need to create fake examples and fake studies as well. Okay. Okay. Are there any other questions? I'll give you a few more minutes if you do have any questions. Okay, just one more second. No? No more questions? Nope. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So now then, as I said at the beginning, this I'm going to take this screen out slightly. Okay. Now, as we said at the beginning, this webinar today was sponsored by Application UK.